Sheldon Lee Cooper is not a normal man. From the very beginning, he lived in a world that was different from other children. Where other children played games, Sheldon looked for patterns. Where other children asked simple questions, he asked questions about the universe. He was born in Texas in a small town into a family that tried to understand him but often failed. His mother, Mary, was loving and religious. She tried to teach him manners and faith. His father, George, was practical and quiet. He did not understand Sheldon's mind. Sheldon had a twin sister, Missy, who was friendly and social. She moved through life with ease. Sheldon moved carefully, following rules. As a child, Sheldon was not just smart, he was extraordinary. At school, he corrected teachers, sometimes politely, sometimes sharply. He corrected a math formula, a date in history, or a scientific explanation. Other children laughed at him. Teachers were confused. But Sheldon cared little. He only cared about truth. Even as a child, Sheldon had routines. He ate certain foods on certain days. Wednesday was spaghetti day. Friday was pizza day. If someone tried to change the food, Sheldon protested loudly. To him, rules were safety. To others, it was strange. He had a special spot at the family table. No one else could sit there. The spot had the right angle to the kitchen, the right light, and the perfect airflow. If someone sat there, Sheldon became frustrated. His mother did not understand. She said, "It's just a chair." Sheldon replied, "It is not just a chair. It is a system." Sheldon read books that adults did not read. He loved physics, mathematics, and trains. Numbers, patterns, and science made sense to him. People did not. He learned quickly and remembered details. He noticed small errors in textbooks and lectures. Teachers sometimes felt embarrassed. Other students were confused. Sheldon did not care. The truth mattered more than feelings. Sheldon's world was made of rules. Chaos scared him. Noise made him uncomfortable. He liked quiet, routine, and clear expectations. This personality followed him into adulthood. When he moved to California, he became a physicist. He shared an apartment with Leonard. Leonard was patient, but sometimes frustrated. Sheldon had a spot on the couch. It was sacred. He ate meals at fixed times. He followed schedules carefully. Everything had a reason. Nothing was random. Sheldon's life in California was different from his childhood. He had moved to a city full of people he did not know. Yet, strangely, he found companions. Leonard, his roommate, was the first. Leonard was patient and caring, though sometimes exasperated. Leonard allowed Sheldon to sit in his spot, organize his schedule, and follow his strict routines. But Leonard also pushed him. He tried to make Sheldon adapt. "You can't always control everything," Leonard said one day. Sheldon replied, "Why not? Control is logical." Leonard laughed. "Logic doesn't cover feelings." Sheldon frowned. Feelings were confusing. He did not understand why people needed to hug or cry or smile for no reason. Next was Penny, the neighbor across the hall. She was loud, cheerful, and unpredictable. Sheldon initially did not like her. She broke rules, made noise, and moved things around. Why does she live here? He asked Leonard. Leonard replied, because she is your neighbor, and you have to deal with it. Over time, Sheldon learned tolerance. Not full tolerance, but enough to survive. Penny challenged him in small ways. She moved furniture. She asked questions he did not want to answer. She laughed at his rules. And slowly, Sheldon began to notice that sometimes rules could be flexible. Then came Raj and Howard. Raj was sensitive and shy. He could not speak to women easily. Sheldon found Raj's nervousness confusing. Howard was bold and funny. He often mocked Sheldon's habits. Sheldon did not understand jokes, but he began to recognize patterns in humor. Together, these four men created a system of friendship. Sheldon still followed his routines, but he adjusted a little. For example, he agreed to watch movies with them, even if the movie was not scientifically accurate. Science remained the center of his life. He spent hours reading papers, calculating equations, and thinking about the universe. Sometimes he ignored his friends to solve a problem. "You do not understand," he would say. "The universe is more important than socializing." And yet his friends accepted him. Even when he was difficult, they stayed. One day, Leonard persuaded Sheldon to join a charity event. Sheldon did not want to go. He did not like surprises. He did not like people. But Leonard explained it logically. Helping is good. You can calculate the outcome. It's useful. Sheldon listened. He calculated. And then he agreed. After the event, Leonard said, "See? It was good for you." Sheldon paused. He looked at Leonard. "I've got to hand it to him," he thought. Leonard had persuaded him, logically and practically. This was rare, very rare. Life with friends was full of challenges. Penny laughed at his routines. Howard mocked his habits. Raj asked strange questions. Sheldon did not always understand humor, but he learned patterns. He still corrected mistakes, argued logically, and insisted on his rules. Yet slowly he became part of the social web. Friendship, even for Sheldon, was not impossible. Sheldon's humor was unusual. He often said things that made people laugh, but not intentionally. For example, when someone made a small mistake, he would say, "That is not logical," and then pause for effect. People laughed. Sheldon did not understand that they found it funny. This created a unique humor, cold, sharp, and unexpected. He had many rules. He had many routines. Yet, he often broke them in small ways, without noticing. For example, he once rearranged Leonard's comic books because they were not aligned. Leonard got angry. Penny laughed. Howard teased. Raj was confused. Sheldon's speech had many iconic moments. Bazinga was used when he made a joke. He corrected people, often repeatedly. He had strict rules about doors, seats, and food. These rules were not just habits. They were a map for life. Anyone trying to challenge them would face a logical argument. Yet, behind this strictness, Sheldon was vulnerable. Amy appeared later in his life. At first, Sheldon was indifferent. He did not know how to respond. Amy was logical, like him, but she was also curious about emotions. Sheldon found this confusing. He wanted companionship, but did not understand it fully. Slowly, Sheldon learned to notice Amy's feelings. He adjusted schedules for her, listened more, and even accepted small compromises. These were huge steps for him. Sheldon's life was full of contradictions. He was brilliant, yet socially awkward. He sought order, yet he lived in chaos created by friends. He craved independence, yet he depended on Leonard, Penny, Raj, and Howard. He loved science, yet he was deeply human. These contradictions made him fascinating. Everyday life with Sheldon was never simple. He calculated everything, planned everything, argued everything. But his friends adapted. They laughed, they tolerated, and sometimes they joined him. Sheldon's presence created tension, but also joy. Watching him organize comic books, correct grammar, and insist on routines was entertaining. Even when he was stubborn, his actions revealed care and intelligence. As time passed, Sheldon slowly changed. He still loved science and routines, but he learned to adapt. He understood that friends could challenge him, and that was not always bad. Leonard taught him patience. Penny taught him flexibility. Raj taught him empathy. Howard taught him humor. And Amy taught him love. Sheldon struggled to show feelings. At first, he could not hug, could not express thanks properly, and could not say, "I love you." But he learned small gestures mattered. A shared meal, a saved seat, a compliment, a simple smile. These were breakthroughs. When Amy achieved something significant, Sheldon celebrated in his unique way. Not with grand words, but with precise acknowledgement. Science never left him. He still calculated probabilities, analyzed data, and solved problems. But now he shared knowledge more freely. Lectures, experiments, and theories became part of friendship and life. He explained complex topics to Penny, Amy, and even Sheldon's mom. Sheldon's humor evolved too. He began to understand why people laughed, and sometimes he laughed with them. Bazinga remained, but it was no longer only for tricking people. Humor became a bridge, not a wall. With Amy, Sheldon learned compromise. He remembered anniversaries, shared experiences, and even comforted her. His friends saw growth. He could plan parties, attend social events, and even appreciate chaos. Sheldon realized that Emotional intelligence was different from scientific intelligence. Sheldon became more than a man with quirks. He was a symbol of brilliance, honesty, and loyalty. His peculiarities taught patience, understanding, and love. Audiences saw a man who was difficult yet endearing. Sheldon's growth was slow, methodical, and logical. And yet, it was real. It was human. From Texas to Pasadena, from solitary genius to beloved friend and partner, Sheldon's journey was remarkable. He reminded us that intelligence comes in many forms. That growth is possible, even for those who struggle with emotions. That love and friendship are sometimes the greatest discoveries of all. Sheldon Cooper was and remains unforgettable.